All right. Hey, everybody. Good to see you all. It's been a while since we've done kind of an office hours session on Zoom like this. It's been quite some time, actually. So it's nice to get this rolling and back up and running again. See some familiar faces. I was going to say some older faces, but I don't quite literally mean older faces. But time
Hello.
passes, older. Hey, Jesse.
Hello.
Good to see you. All right. So let's kick this off. Let's just, why don't we do this? Because probably to me, I recognize mostly everybody here except attendee. But let's do a little quick round robin and do a little intro to you, who you are, what your business is, and maybe what you'd like to dig into today or ask today. So let's start with that. So I'll start. My name is Brad, and I run an agency, a productized agency called Creator Engines. And I do basically funnels and email marketing for creatives or creators rather. So that's my agency. And we do the email architecture and the systems and the whole flow. We map it out like on user flows and flow charts, and then I implement it in kits like previously known as ConvertKit. And so we map the whole thing out. And so that's my productized agency. That's what I do. Web design, yes. So I'm a web designer by trade, programmer, web developer. I've done that for a very long time. And I use that in my agency as well. I just don't have a quote unquote web design exclusive agency. I don't just build for the web anymore. It's mainly sales and email automation focused. But because I have that background in web and design, usually landing pages and key sales pages are a part of my agency offering. I just don't call myself like a web design agency. And so that's like kind of my service-based part of my business and the part that probably most of you are aware of me from. That's English. The way that you're almost, I don't know, my English is gone. ChatGPT, fix it for me. Tell me how to say this phrase. Anyway, you know me from Creative Crew. So I run as a creator myself. I do content, training, education, mentorship, coaching for creative professionals, namely web designers, web developers, people who build sites and for the web for their clients, freelancers. So I kind of have two parts. So I'm like it's like when you go to college and you are like, hey, my professor actually does what he teaches versus university where they just teach. I'm just digging on university profs, but you get what I mean. I remember when I went to college, I was like, hey, web developer teacher, are you actually a web developer or do you just teach this and you're not in the field and you don't know what people are doing now? And they're like, no, I work at whatever games studio downtown Vancouver. Like we build video games for Facebook games when Facebook apps and Facebook games was a thing. So anyway, I actually teach what I know in Creative Crew and as a personal brand, what I actually do. So I'm on sales calls, I do pricing, I do strategy, clients, project management, web, all of it. Anyway, that was a really long intro, but that's me for anyone who's not quite sure of my background. I'll pick next, and then whoever's next will pick next. And then that way everybody's going to get a turn. I'm going to go with Michael because I haven't seen Michael in a while.
Yeah, it's been quite a long time. So I was happy to see it pop into my inbox. I thought, hey, why not jump back on? So my name is Michael. I used to be a more regular attendee at stuff like this, but I think when did you start this? A couple of years ago now?
Yeah, so I started Creative Crew office hours a couple of years ago, but then prior to that, I've been doing office hours for like 3 years, just under a different banner.
Anyway, I joined during one of those other banners. I have a consultancy where I do website development. My agency is me, and it's called Cascadia Digital. I guess why I came into these in the first place is looking to grow, find my niche, all that stuff. More recently, I've somewhat stumbled into a tech vertical, where I've pivoted away from whatever, and I'm focusing on website development in the Statamic CMS. And so I've launched a YouTube channel. I've got a podcast where I talk about it. I can throw some links in the chat later when I'm not talking. And I also teach. I am one of those teacher workers here. I live near Vancouver, where there's a technical school called British Columbia Institute of Technology Script and React Development in a front-end development program. What are you guys doing to level up your business? Just so you connect a little bit, because it's like we said before, it's been a while. Yeah, that's me. I will tag Jesse next.
Hello, my English is not very good, but I understand very well. But I come from back, and I'm a full stack marketer, and I run a marketing plan for a business. I'm here. I work for GB Impact. It's 20 years. It's been 20 years, and we do everything. SEO, website, programmation with JavaScript and some Python. Run a campaign on social media, and I give a recommendation for AI tools because there's too much AI tools. And I want to know today what's your toolbox, and if I can share you my toolbox. My toolbox is very big. Search. I try all the tools, and I choose very only 3 tools. They can do everything. And it's that in the GB Impact we are now 6 people, and there's a designer, web designer, there's social media partners, and we have programmers. And Felix is a web developer and engineer, informatique, ingénieur informatique, c'est, software engineer. And that's all.
Nice.
Thank you.
Cool. It's good to have you here, Jesse.
Yes.
Okay, I am just me right now. I hope to grow at some point, but I am basically, I'm like a creative strategist, I guess you could say. I do website with usually Wix or WordPress, and I also do marketing. Marketing, not like campaign marketing that I have not touched yet, honestly. But I do marketing as in like, I guess it's called content creation. So basically content creation for Instagram and Facebook, and I do the graphical designing and the videos, and I work that way with small businesses, usually expats here because I live in Italy. So the expats that are living here. And I don't know, I'm still trying to find completely my niche. I'm getting there. I have been doing trying to do audits. I do audits, and I do digital presence audits. And right now I'm just trying to do some marketing, not marketing, but I'm calling it Instagram content creation for a big jewelry company here that I'm hoping that I get that. They signed this proposal. First it was a digital audit presence. They said no. Now I submitted just today for Instagram we said, let's start for a month and see how this goes. And I know what I'm doing, but I don't, because this is a big company and I'm trying to promote a big company and I'm just this tiny little person. So we'll see, but it's like 12 posts a month in Instagram. So that's pretty much what my question is probably going to be on, is what to do with that. But I did send a proposal out today. So
Nice.
My fingers are crossed.
Brilliant. Cool.
I guess Kristen, if she's there, I'll see a video.
Kristen's iPad. There we go.
There you are.
We can see you, but you are muted.
You're muted.
There we go. Okay, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Sorry. I was just having lunch, so I was eating and I didn't want to have you guys watch me eat. Anyways, I am a photographer. For about 15 years, I've been involved in photography. I worked with some businesses, did some portraiture, did families, and now I'm doing real estate photography and media as well. So basically what I'm doing is I'm skill stacking. So I'm not just, I can be diverse. I ended up taking a little bit of a course with a real estate media guru. He's a mentor for me in that field. And I ended up doing my own website with X. I've done digital design, I've done my graphic design technology course a few years. And so I did my own website, and he was like, wow, that's really impressive. But he was very pleased to see what I did with it. So he asked me if I would start working for him and doing websites for his clients. So that's what I'm doing right now, just basic websites for real estate media specialists all over Canada and the US. I've done, I want to say, 4 sites in the last few weeks, and I'm working on a 5th, and I have 2 more to go. And then there's a good string of clients always coming in. So I'm always looking to learn. Skill stacking is something that I'm always interested in. I've been interested in also in doing funnels and learning about that whole thing. I was actually just doing a web about it. Of course, it's hugely sales focused. I'm just like, yeah, I'm not going to do that, but just to find more information. And yeah, so that's what I've been up to myself. So my business is Brass Key Real Estate Photography and Media, and I tacked on my web design on there. And so yeah, I'm just looking to continue learning, continue diversifying, always looking to use Wix Studio because I love it. It's actually really cool. I can do really neat dynamic websites for my clients. And yeah, I'm always watching and seeing what you guys are doing. Brad, I've been following you for over a year already. I did a boot camp. I was boot camp number 2 last year. So yeah, it's been awesome. So I've been here and there. I travel a bit. I have, my kids are older. So my son is actually in his last year of home education, and I'm up in Grand Prairie, Alberta. It's really smoky here right now.
Of course.
So, yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well, good to have you here, Kristen.
Yeah, no problem. Let's see. Who hasn't gone?
You got attendee and Trevoris, who just popped in. We're just doing intros.
Trevoris,
Yes,
I'm picking you.
I just joined. How's everybody doing today?
Good.
I just got off a client call review site that I'm wrapping up, so hopefully just taking some notes and things like that. And then I checked my email. I was like, oh yeah, this is today. So yeah, I'm Trevoris. I am the owner of Cornell Creative, based in Orlando, Florida, sunny Florida. Yeah, things are going good. I'm really in love getting more into Wix Studio, learning about just creating a product, enhancing and scaling clients' digital presence. And yeah, that's it. I don't know what else to say. Sorry.
No,
I just
that's
talked for
good.
the last hour.
Oh, I bet you're tired of talking. That's good. We can grab the mic from you. Yeah, it's great to see you here, man. And yeah, we're just doing little round robin intros just so everybody's re-familiarized with one another, or making some intros for anyone who doesn't know who's here. Yes, it's good to see her. I see Maria just jumped in. Maria, are you able to jump on the mic and or video? Maybe not this time. That's okay. We can circle back around. And the mysterious attendee, are you comfortable revealing your identity?
It's not really about that. I got this notification a bit last minute, so I'm not really for a camera right now. But my name is actually Rose.
Rose, nice to meet you.
Likewise. I own the agency Web Creator Live, and we mostly provide services such as web design, web development, app development, and other services as well. And right now we're in the building stages, getting more open to new clients and partnering with other companies as well. So we've been doing that for a few years, and I initially found you on Instagram through advertising, and I took your boot camp just to connect with like-minded individuals to learn more or find new opportunities. And it was a great experience. So I just thought that I should continue with the community and engage. But that's all.
Amazing. Thank you. It's good to have you here, and welcome back. And I was just teasing anyway regarding the nameless profile. I get it. Sometimes people will join on Zoom, and they'll be like joining from their kids' Zoom from like Zoom school during COVID and stuff. So they'll be joining in and be like, Tommy's Zoom. Sorry, I'm not Tommy. That's my kid. So I get it. Sometimes you open up Zoom and you don't know what your profile is. Okay, great. It's good to see everybody here. I'm really happy to have you here. I think what we can do here is we can maybe go around again and we can tackle the pressing topic. And yeah, feel free to share your link. I see people are sharing their links to their sites, their portfolio sites, LinkedIn, whatever you want us to see or have access to. We got talkingstatamic.com. We got jbimpact.com, kimberlyvanzi.com, and kimberlyvanzistudio.com. Hopefully I'm pronouncing the last name right. Or maybe it's more of a hard A, like Vanzi.
I don't even pronounce it right.
Okay, how do we pronounce it right? I'm assuming it's Italian.
I say Vanzi, so
Did we do it with the
that's
hands?
what I say. But I'm actually changing my branding. It's because Kimberly seems to be too popular. There's so many Kimberlys now that are web designers, and when I went to search my name, I was like, oh my word. So I'm changing it to an actual. It's going to be create. Well, it's going to be Italian, but
nice.
Creva Vanzi, because Creva is to create, and then Vanzi, my last name. And I'm going to rebrand. It's going to show up soon, but I haven't done it yet. But
nice. That is very cool. Make sure to share that with us when you go through that process. When you're rebranding, feel free to share behind the scenes too. That's always fun when you see what's working. And then maybe you have some things that you're like, I don't know how to port things over. How do I make sure the SEO on this is going here? Any of that, feel free to share it because it's important for everybody to see that process as well. And I'm sure that somebody could help in the community as you navigate that for sure. Cool. And then we also got carnellcreative.com. So all those sites are linked up there. Perfect. Okay, so let's go around here. And since we went a little round robin style, we'll come back around to Michael and mention kind of your reason for joining here. You wanted to kind of get back in the loop and see what everybody's working on. Did you have any pressing questions or anything that you wanted to ask, whether me or the general community here? And we can kick off the conversation, maybe answer some questions or direct the conversation from there.
Let's see. I don't have anything pressing necessarily, but I'm starting to think about ways to scale with productized service. Some of my clients lately have been real estate, for example, and I'm wondering, like, first of all, how do you go about researching or testing your sort of hypothesis about could I make a product around some of the contract work that I've been doing recently? And so like in the real estate sector, for example, like I'm doing some subcontracting for design agencies who are doing identity and branding and like all the sort of marketing for like a condo project or townhouses or something. And often they have like a physical showroom or something where they've got a touch screen, and the touch screen has all the information about the build, like the amenities and what's in the neighborhood, the floor plans, that kind of thing. And they all have the same sort of thing in them. Anyway, I'm just thinking about like, how could I make this a product? Would I market that to the agencies or to the end client directly? That kind of thing. And it doesn't have to necessarily be this, but because that's what I've been doing or I'm about to be doing a little bit more.
That's a great question. And I have a little bit of insight actually to share on that from experience. And then also probably Kristen, given you're in the real estate space as well, probably have some thoughts on this. When I was in the earlier stage of my freelancing, so this is like maybe 2014, when I was making some progress, I found myself accidentally in basically that niche that you're talking about. So housing developments, and probably I think it's the same in the Vancouver area, probably even up in Grand Prairie. These are Canadian towns and cities, by the way, anyone who's outside of it. But same idea in any major center or city in probably the American continent. I don't know if it's the same in, say, Italy, but we have like big suburban housing developments, and they're usually branded, and it's usually names like Heritage Point or Artesia or the Brooklyn or Brookfield Heights. It's got these like names that makes you feel like you're a part of a community and all this sort of stuff. And they all have different kind of essences. These are more for students. These are high-end sort of retirement places. These are like you want the McMansions on the 2-acre plots so that you're like showing that you have money, like lots of different angles that they position these things at. And so I found myself in this somehow. I think I did work for a client, and this client I did work for on their website. And she was like, I'm actually in the real estate space in Calgary, big city in Alberta. Any Canadian, you know what I'm talking about. And she was like, and I work with the builders who are basically buying the land and building communities. And there was a few of them, probably 5 or 6 of them. And she was like, we need a website. And the website is basically like the digital showroom. And it's got information about the community. It's got the map. It's got the interactive map with all of the plots that you can see if it's available, details, photos, how big the square footage or the land is, all of it, all of the map for everything. What's in the community? Here's the golf course. Here's this. Here's that. Here's the clubhouse. And so she was like, I need the website with the interactive map, clickable, all of that. I need information about the builder, about the homes, like the mission of the community, the mock-ups, the photos, and book inquiry, contact information, all of that stuff. And so I was like, oh, great, that sounds good. So I built that, and it was a cool challenge. But then she was like, all right, I got another community. This one's called Clearfield Homes or something like that. And it's literally the exact same thing, but it's blue, and it's not a luxury community. It's a standard community of condos. And like we have a green space and a dog walking spot and a nice pond with ducks. And I was like, oh, okay. So then I built that. And then there was another one. And I was like, wait a minute, these are all the same. And I was like, this is a thing. And so at the time, I didn't really know much about like productizing. I don't think we even used that word or like even really nailing down a specific niche, but I did a lot of work on these developments. And I'll like drive into Calgary. So I'm not in Calgary, I'm outside of it, but I'll drive into Calgary and be like, I built a website for that community. I know that one. I know this one. And be like, ooh, how's Artesia looking these days? So it is a niche. And from my experience, again, even more so now, because population is ballooned in Canada. So there's even more of these, as you probably experienced too over in the Vancouver greater area. Same up in Calgary. It's like these communities are popping up. So there's even more demand now, I think. And the key contact for me, she basically had her own agency, and she worked basically with the builders and the developers. And those were her key contacts. And she was the one who would say, we'll do basically like your marketing and your brand packaging and any of the collateral. So that included websites. Usually nowadays, they probably do like high-end drone video and photography, maybe a show reel. They'd have brochures, pamphlets, set up all of the collateral and the sandwich boards and everything for the convention centers and events and stuff. So she kind of like managed that whole thing and was like, I need a good, reliable web designer or website guy to build our websites. And that was me. So I'm like, I think like your key contacts in my mind would either be someone like that woman I'm talking about, who's like the key marketing advisor for these developers, or being that yourself. But it kind of depends on like how much. And she wasn't the one building it. She was, okay, we need a videographer, we need the photographer, we'll hire Kristen, we'll hire another videographer who's like an expert in drone video, and we're going to get Brad and his agency building the site. We're going to get this person out who's going to do content. We're going to get like this trendy young TikToker who's going to do like content marketing, like influencer style. That's what that person did. So I'm not saying you should do that, but those people are like, you could buddy up to those key contacts. Kristen, do you have any thoughts on this? Do you have any insights on the real estate world and what Michael might be looking for or who he might be looking for?
What I do is I do media, real estate media, which includes the drone VR
nice.
tours VR is actually what I'm going to be getting into next. I don't have a VR camera yet, but it's coming. And yeah, there's just all that kind of stuff that is involved. I also, because of my graphic design, I do like branding. If a realtor wants to be branded, headshots, whatever. But so I work pretty much with realtors. I haven't actually been involved in a business development yet myself personally, but open to it completely. So just, yeah, all the things that Brad pretty much mentioned, I would look for all that. And yeah, another thing too is I grew up just outside of Vancouver in Chilliwack. I know where you're at.
Yeah. Abbotsford, actually.
Oh, cool. Awesome. My mom was born in Abbotsford. Hilarious.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
No, is there anything else that you'd like to ask? Something that you'd like to know specifically for myself?
You're asking me?
Anybody? Yeah, go ahead.
Not in particular, I don't think.
Okay.
I think where I'm struggling right now, I have a bunch of these contacts. Like I know designers and I know agency people, but they're the ones reaching out to me for doing the web portion of these projects. I guess that's the reason why I'm thinking of developing some sort of productized service there, where the scope and the price isn't going to be, who knows what it's going to be this time, but it can be a little bit more predictable for them, so that it's more of a click of a button, and then there's maybe a little bit of massaging when it comes to the brand or the colors or whatever, but then the turnaround can be faster. Those are the kinds of things that I'm thinking about.
Yeah, I think that's really smart. Honestly, yeah. It's like, I think if you put together that offer, like I bet you if you put on your site, looking at, what do you use as your site? If you're ever reaching out to someone, do you use michaelroy.com or .ca, or do you use Cascadia?
I've kind of going back and forth. I stopped using the brand one for a while and I've gone back to it. So I'm using this one. I'll put it in the chat.
Okay.
And I'm working on, sorry, there's no
Cascadia.
link on there.
Okay, cool. Oh yeah, it doesn't auto link .digital. Okay, that's cool. Cascadia .digital. Okay, custom web dev, help your SaaS scale. Here's what I think is, let's create a subdomain on there, or just a directory, doesn't matter, a page that you'd send to this offer. This is what I always say with productized offering is you have your agency, your general services, kind of your catch-all. If someone finds themselves there or they click through from your LinkedIn, good. But have a page that's like specific to that industry and their needs. And even like mock things up. Like I know you'd be able to whip it up pretty quickly where you'd have like a concept or a demo highlighting maybe the interactive map, or there's all these things that they do need. It's like, I'm looking at the site it's a new version now, but it's essentially the same base code. It's like they have all of their amenities. So this community I'm talking about has like golf course with you could rent tee times, there's rules and etiquette, there's the different leagues, there's lessons, there's careers, but there's also, they have a wedding facility and venue for events, they have tournaments, but then they also have the community itself. So this is kind of like the golf course portion of it, but they have the homes that on the site itself, which I don't think exists anymore because now the whole community is sold. But at the time, it was like, what do you get a community? What's the map? All the plots, the information, little pop-ups when you click on the plot. It shows a little modal that pops up and shows pictures, square footage, street frontage, blah, 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 blah. And if you like mock that up or even just put that together on a page with all the things that they need, and then it's like, it's the turnaround. You could even have like with productizing, when they know the timeline, the price, and the scope. It's like, and you don't have to just say the price because you might want to get on an intro call because maybe it's not $8,000, maybe it's $17,000 because they need all this extra customized functionality and people want to pay their taxes on it or whatever it is.
Right.
So
starting from maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Starting from, it's like a predictable price, and you could really position it that way. It's like, it's predictable pricing, like no surprises. You get exactly what you want. This is what we specialize in. Like we build these like websites and branded high-end solutions for new communities and new home communities, or however you position that wording, because that's really what it is. It's like you're a builder called Brookfield Builders, and you have this community with 96 properties or plots, and you're really trying to sell this community because there's another one over here that they're competing with. There's a whole bunch, and there's all these new people who are looking for homes, and how do you position that? So I think if you put that page together and basically pitched it like it already exists, because it already does in your brain. And if somebody called you tomorrow and said, I need this, you'd be ready the next day to know what to do. It's just a matter of you putting it in. Here's what I do. And then you contact those people that you have. You reach out to the developers, the people that you know, and ask anyone building homes that are looking for these solutions. I've got this in place and we have a really quick turnaround. We can build it as quick as a week or whatever. I think like then you could start, and then you send them to it, and then you book an intro, book a consultation. And then you're not just a web developer or web development consultancy that they're like, can he do this? They're like, oh, you build these solutions for us. Okay, yeah, let's talk. I think that would be really a smart move, because then you just send them to that page.
Yeah.
And it could be targeted outreach.
Yeah, I was inspired a little bit too. I forget which podcast I was listening to. Maybe it was your podcast, Brad. I don't know. With Mike.
Janda?
And you were talking about some guy who ended up building a web. He was just a generic website guy, and he built something for a lawn mowing or like yard kind of thing. And then started doing like more and more. And then it became like the only game in North America that does these things, and they make all kinds of money because like they sort of niche down like super hard into this one kind of website for like people who do yard services. Or I don't remember what the thing was, but it was almost by accident that's like, hey, we've done this thing a couple times. Okay, how can we streamline it? And now it's like you only pay a little bit and you get this full website about cutting grass, or I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you know the one I'm talking about? Was that you or is that someone else?
It very well could have been. We did so many episodes, and I know that we talked about niching a lot. Maybe Kyle. Yeah, Roberto says someone like that with Kyle Prince. I don't remember the guest, but it was for campers. So it's possibly campers.
It was
maybe,
like
but then
like campgrounds and campsites, and I think they decided to go with okay, we can templatize a lot of this and then hit the market specifically, because even if we get like 10% of all camping grounds, that's still a lot. It makes it very easy to we can do something very low. I don't want to say low effort because that sounds derogatory, but it's like it's low cost to start. But it's also like low maintenance in the sense of, we don't have to do a lot of these things. And I've seen a lot of businesses do that, like a little bit after. I think I remember having a meeting with a few other people in one of the other communities. And I'm like, oh yeah, look, hey, this place is doing it just for ice cream stores. So if you're an ice cream store, hey, we make the websites for your ice cream business. So I'm like, okay. Yeah, they're probably very similar templates, but the functionality is the same across all of those businesses. So it's not a bad place if you want to do that.
Yep. Really smart, because they need the same thing. They need the same thing, and then you're not starting from scratch every time. And you could talk to them on the consults. Your marketing becomes that. Like you use their lingo. You're not just saying like we build websites that are scalable, and like when you're just basically.
Do you have an ice cream business? I know everything you need for your ice cream website business. It's like okay. Again, it sounds really silly to most people, but again, for those people, they're like, hey, no one else is making me an ice cream website. They're making me a generic website. This guy knows about ice cream. I don't know.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
It sounds funny.
I like it.
It sounds funny hearing the other way, but it is like a really smart idea to do it that way.
Yeah, it is. And then another example that I talked about with Mike Janda is in the community. Actually, he's a programmer, and he had a general agency. Ben Peach is his name. If you search him in the community, you'll see the interview with him, and you'd probably find it interesting. But basically, he's a programmer, developer, and he just did general agency services. Like most of us start, we just kind of do whoever's the client is good, we'll take them on. But then he has a background in lumber and like hardwood, in the hardwood and lumber industry, just like totally unrelated. Like he did some sort of engineering thing, or worked there, or he might not even have been engineering. Just like I worked in the lumber yard a lot and knew a lot about it. Forgive me, Ben, if you're going to listen to this and I totally get it wrong. He had experience in lumber. And he's like, wait a minute, I got a couple clients in this space and I knew their language. Like I immediately went into the lumber industry jargon, not agency speak. And was like, oh, you need this, you need inventory management. You need a way to manage these quotes. And there's like large quantities of quotes. We're talking huge amounts. We're talking hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars like being thrown around. And you need ways to accurately track that. He said, everybody, it's just like some dude who's been in the industry for a long time and he's got like a notepad and he's like writing it down, pen and paper, and lots of stuff gets missed and it's really frustrating. And if I can make it so that is really clean, really easy to manage, it updated across everywhere, and I did their website to make them stand out. So this was the hardwood lumber industry from their competitors. And we did a great video and we did great front end marketing and inventory management in the back. He's like, I think I could do this. So he did that for a client, realized I just want to do that. And he like trashed his general brand, rebranded to Heartwood Brands and or Heartwood Brands, I think it was. And he literally just goes to lumber trade shows, talks to the lumber companies and lumber industry leaders, and just does this. And he just builds the site. He does like front end marketing and inventory management. He like built software and websites and front end marketing for it. And he's like, that's it. And we grew, and it's literally all I do now. And he's like, I get to talk about the stuff I like, which is like lumber and hardwood and be in that space. And I'm talking to guys in the lumber industry, not like general stuff, and convincing them that like real clean and lean code is the way to go. They don't care. They just want to know like, you will not lose $1 million a year from your pen and paper method. And then they're like, sign me up. And it goes from these guys are like old fashioned and they won't pay anything. Like they're so cheap if they don't value it, and they won't hand over anything. Or if they do understand it, the sky's the limit. They'll pay anything. So he's like, once I repositioned it and I was doing lumber, inventory management, custom quoting, everything was trackable across all the board and everything, and we positioned it that way. We went from like trying to extract a few $1,000s to multi five figure quotes that would get approved right away. No problem. Same person, just realizing the value. And so that person would be like, I don't need a website. We're fine. I got buddies on the call and I got my paper and we're fine. So like, we're going to solve these major problems that you guys experience. I know because I'm in your space. And they're like, perfect. You're going to save me $1 million a year, whatever you need. I'll throw it at you. I think that niching down is a really smart idea. And in the home developments, housing developments, these kind of suburban communities from high end to condo communities where they're all branded. We see them everywhere. It's huge in Canada, probably in the USA. And they pop up and they're branded communities and they have their own sales pitch, but they need a website, they need interactive maps, they need sales flows, they need all of it. I think it's really smart. And I would be keen on seeing you put that together.
Cool.
Sweet. Thanks for suggesting that topic. Okay, let's see. Let's go to, I think, Kristen, you were next in the queue. Did you have a question or anything that you wanted to bring up?
Not really, no. I'm just, like I said, I think as I'm doing my web design, I'm quite niched down myself, but I'd really like to expand further. So I have a very basic website that I put together. Some of the things that I want to add, like I'm wanting to learn funnels, and it's something that I can offer people as well. I don't really know a huge amount about them, but I'm not sure where to go about finding that information. Also, just learning different avenues if I branch out into not so much real estate. Like I don't want to make myself too busy, but my goal is eventually to be able to travel and work at the same time, and that's a little more difficult to do with real estate media. Hold on, my earbuds are dying.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's just something like, what are next steps? Because I have like I said, a very basic page. I'm not utilizing any sort of online. We use a site called HD Photo Hub, And what that does is I upload all of my media and all of my photography up there. And that's where I have my order form, and my order form is actually attached just to one of the buttons on my website. So when they click on the Book Me Now button, it takes me to, I have a subdomain connected there, but it just takes me right to my order form, and it's super simple, super basic. I haven't used any order forms on Wix Studio because the HD Photo Hub actually has like media packages that realtors can purchase and stuff like that. It's a fantastic resource for real estate media people. And I'm sure you could use it for other things too, but for the most part, they don't really need reels or whatever for just regular photography, maybe. But anyway, so that's what I'm doing. I don't know if there's any next steps that I should really take a look at or consider. I would love any advice anybody wants to give, or Brad, if you want to chime in, that's awesome too.
Yeah. Are you looking to, you mentioned like kind of branch away from the real estate media and into something different, or?
Not necessarily, but just being able to offer more to clients if they come along, because like I said, I'm quite niched into the real estate media. But if there's things like, let me show you one of my clients. I'll just give you an example of, hold on one second, I'll see if I can find it here, of one of my clients' pages that I just completed. Let me just grab it really quick here. There it is. Okay. Let me just share that with you. Hold on one second.
You should be able to, I think I have it so that anyone can share.
There we go. I actually am just going to send a link, but I could share a screen actually. I guess I could share a screen. Here, I'll just send you the link, and if you wanted to take a peek at it.
Okay.
There it is. Yeah, this is a gentleman. I think is this guy over in, I think is he in Colorado, or I'm not actually sure. He's somewhere in the States. Okay. But yeah, so it's quite, like I said, quite basic. There's just like an about me page. There's a portfolio.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if there's any next steps for learning. What should I learn? What are, like, when I'm branching out to other people, if I say had a realtor, I haven't actually done a realtor site yet. I'm open to it completely, but I'm not sure if anybody's done any real estate websites at all before. If there's something else that would be great to learn through Studio or anything else, that'd be great too. So yeah, anything. I'm just looking for information on branching out, gaining skills. Like skill stack is the word I use, just to be able to offer more if somebody needs it.
Yeah. I think it's really cool. Yeah. So in the space, in your real estate space, because you're currently doing real estate media. So you got the packages from photo packages, realtor packages, square footage, vacant lots. So I'm looking at your list there. It's like there are like complementary or other services that you could branch into, that you could explore. And that could be, it could be a focus on the realtor. The realtors in and of themselves like need to be able to have almost like their own brand, because they know they might go from one real estate agency to another. They might start their own, and having as anybody who's worked with realtors before, like it can really be hit or miss. And if you're like strapped with someone that you're just like really not into, or like hanging out with and doing viewings or asking questions or texting, if you're really not into it, like it can be really difficult. And we've also had the experience of working with realtors who are like really great and have since moved on to a different agency. And we were like, oh, we're not loyal to the agency. We're loyal to that realtor. Like wherever he goes, we go. So you're there, great, because I like working with that person. So it's almost like positioning those realtors, those local realtors, as their own brand, and almost giving a package to realtors themselves. And that could be from their content to their personal brand to their photography, which is kind of your skill set. And you can really bolster up the realtor package. And that could be from social media to their own email to their own insights. They can have their own brand, and you could almost be like a startup package for realtors And there's a whole menu of items that you could offer to them to build out the kind of their personal brand for as a realtor. That's an option. And photography would definitely be a part of that. So I know if you're trying to create something that's away from that, well, maybe you could also sell. I don't want to get too funky or weird, but maybe you can have productized offering as well. Or productized being it's turnkey, it's like clear outcome, clear timeline, clear price for a very clear target audience. And that might be something like where they get like a landing page for property, clear lead capture, and maybe a 5-part automated email funnel sequence, where it's all just kind of turnkey. Maybe even light version of what we are talking about with Michael earlier, where I can do a productized kind of bigger package for these basically home development builders who need they're building a neighborhood. It could be for a listing. It could be something that if they want to highlight a listing, and it could be like the standalone landing page with the same layout, the same style, but it changes the branding, the logo, the details, and you can build that in whatever. This is just some ideas. I think that there's lots that you can explore within that, from marketing to social to productized offerings to realtor packages, branching out of, say, the real estate itself, but into the individuals who are selling it. Those are just a few ideas that are off the top of my head.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Great information there. I just shared my web page that I have set up, and because the Have Drone Will Travel, that's just one of my sites that I've designed for another real estate media professional. So the other one that I shared was my personal one, and I have if you click on a book now, you'll see that it's attached to my services there. I don't actually have web design on there because most of the time, but I guess I could add that for realtors as
that's right. Add a website. It could be landing page, and then you could also put like automated funnel, which is and it could be an automated newsletter. It could be an automated funnel that gives you information. There's lots of unique ideas that you can add on. And web design is most certainly in the realm of, like, as web designers, we're usually really focused on just like websites are the thing. That's the offer. But actually what it is, it's a piece of a bigger puzzle. And it's usually, like I mentioned earlier, like I was the web design freelancer slash micro agency that was hired as a part of a bigger campaign for the project manager who was arranging professional photography, zoning, events, promotional marketing, direct mail marketing. There's a whole piece that this person was looking at, and the website was one part of it. So it's like you could scoop up a little more in that space by being like, we did virtual tour in the photography, we could do the drone, but we can also do, you put like the social media marketing, we could do a whole Instagram takeover. There's so many different things that you could do there. Website, automated email marketing, newsletter, it's all branded, direct mail newsletter. It's like this, you could add all these pieces on to increase that average order value from, we'll do a complete photo package for $295 to the realtor also wants like a celebrity style photo shoot with a personal brand package. We want the listing, we want the virtual tour with the VR experience, its own dedicated website where you can book tours, you can do the booking, you can schedule it, you can all of it. And it can go from $295 to $29.95 pretty quick.
Definitely. That's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, I was gonna echo.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was gonna echo the sentiment because I would help out a lot of people, like agencies and freelancers. And whenever I would speak, I'm like, "Oh, this is a really nice website." I'm like, "Oh, do you guys do this like full time?" They're like, "No, actually, we do marketing. Like, really, it's just for a lot of people when they do marketing efforts. The first thing they ask is, "Do you guys have a website already?" And you'd be surprised a lot of people are like, "No." And, okay, so we're gonna do this marketing effort, but where's this all gonna go?
Yeah.
So hey, yeah, we're making you this cool tour. We're making you this cool thing. So where's it gonna live? And some people might be like, social media. Oh, I'm gonna put it on Instagram. I'm gonna put it on Facebook. And it's like, okay, cool. So you don't own any of that traffic. You don't really have any insight into any of that. So I think that's a good. And again, they might not think about it, but if you tell them that way, and it's like, hey, especially your ideas to get leads and to get all this stuff, if you do it on a website, it's a lot better because you can get that information, and especially if you're using something like Wix Studio or any other like site, probably a lot of them you can get automation. So it's like, oh, I have this lead now, and I can email them and it's like, yeah, I saw you sent out a form and you did this thing. Or I was gonna share a video because it's funny. I was just going through like my videos because I'm like, I need to put them on Wixvault. I've just been going all in on just putting everything on YouTube. But if you have bookings, and I think you only need a premium plan, you can do appointments within the bookings app, like the form. So if someone wants to book a free appointment, you can actually do it directly through the form. So it's like, hey, I want to meet Thursday next week at 5. Okay, cool. So I covered that in the video that I'll post it, but I think it's really cool.
That is smart.
Just to have do like free consultations or free appointments, and I go into, I'm like, yeah, if you don't want us to do it for everything, you just put it out. But
brilliant. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and that's the thing is like these real estate agents, it's like if they're always doing it. I have a buddy here in town who I'm seeing, he's like really ramping up his social media for selling properties as a realtor. And he's really ramping it up. He's on Facebook a ton, he's on Instagram a ton. I'm seeing some ads, he's taking out sponsored placements and stuff. And he's even I was at the hockey game here at like kind of regional, like Western Canada Hockey League. And anyway, we got this big arena here. It's just pretty great for the hockey, like for the hockey kids here. And it's like, it feels like the NHL. It's like pretty big deal. And they have these big billboards and banners all throughout for ads, and usually for local businesses, from HVAC companies to plumbers to the newest restaurant to gas and whatever else. But there's also realtors will take up spots. And so anyway, he took one out and he had this big banner. I was like, hey, I went to high school with that guy. And look at him. He's up there on the big billboard. But all of it just goes to social, just like his Instagram. And you don't own that. You can't, like, you don't control. If I send out an email or a post, I'm at the mercy of whatever the algorithm decides at that time. You know, my followers will see. And if he has that list, if he had a list of 50, 500, 1,000 local residents in the area who have got their eye on, and they have almost their back pocket like a real estate agent, that they feel like they're in their inbox, then you could hit reply when he sends out a broadcast, hey, there's a new thing happening, or hey, mortgage rates just went down, or this happened, or he owns that distribution. So building out an email list, building distribution, and direct contact to people who will buy or refer, and building a relationship like no other real estate agent does, that's a clear value as well. And having
and
the
analytics as well is like great on that. It's like, oh, cool, these people are really engaged and these people aren't, or oh, this is a bounce email. Or I think any of that information you can use there.
Thanks for coming, man.
Yeah. I wrote in the chat, but I'm like, oh, I was hopeful that you were going to say, oh, he got a mascot.
Yeah. Obviously, he got a mascot. Yeah. Game. That would be great. They should. He didn't, but like there is a mascot for the team. But it'd be great if the mascot were, if you could like pay to sponsor the jersey he wears or something like that. It'd be great. Okay, let's see. Kimberly, did you have you mentioned you had something that you wanted to ask too.
I don't know. It's late now, but
it's okay. We can make sure to tackle.
I don't really have a question. I guess just waiting to see what happens with this. It's the usual feeling that you get, like you give out a proposal and you're like, way more than what I have normally asked for, but it still to me seems less because I feel like I'm going to be working more and not really getting what I'm putting in there. But I'm just waiting to see, because the reason they rejected the other was because of pricing. The economy here right now is not the greatest. But I think I priced it really well, and I did it for 1 month, so it's a trial. So I'm hoping, because I did mention that I would up it in the second month. So I'm I need to get my foot in the door with them, because their digital presence is really bad. Their website is actually 2021. But they were like, oh, I don't need it. I don't need the website.
Yeah.
So I'm just going, and I'm going nuts over here going, I want to help you out. You want to do this. You want to get into the digital presence. You want to expand, but they don't want to pay. So that's kind of what the problem is.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and that's clients don't value websites because websites in and of themselves aren't that valuable, but it's like what it represents or what it does or what it enables them to do that's valuable. Kind of like earlier I was talking about Ben Peach. He went from saying like, these guys won't pay anything. They'll pay bottom of the barrel prices for websites. But as soon as you're pitching to them, this solves your inventory management problem. This positions you as more trustworthy and premium over your competitors who do literally the exact same thing as you. All of these other hardwood lumber suppliers are literally the same. What makes you different from this one and this one? Nothing at all. And so it's like the trust, the positioning, the communication, the professionalism. That's like when they go, oh, that's what I need. Not a website. I need that. Increase my trust, manage my inventory, sell my products and services, get more calls, don't lose deals, keep track of the click flow. And that was just a website. It had inventory management, nicer branding, a nice drone video selling their story. So it's like that they'll pay thousands, multiple thousands, and a website they'll be like, maybe I'll do a template, or I won't do one at all. So it's like same thing, just different way of presenting it. So that's the challenge, is making sure that you're understanding what do they need and how is the website and the web services providing solving that. That's a trick.
I can't get to that website until I get hopefully this Instagram now, which
yes,
they wanted me to teach them the Instagram. And I can only imagine what they thought that cost was going to be. But I'm like, no, I'm a strategist. I cannot just teach you. I literally have massive ideas in my head of what your videos and your reels are going to look like. And
absolutely,
I can't go backwards. So
yeah, no, I hear you.
I'm waiting to see.
Please keep us posted on the status of that and if that goes forward.
I hope so.
Amazing. Me too. And Carnell, did you have any? Sorry, Carnell Creative. I keep saying Carnell. Trevoris, tell us, any questions?
I'm interested to know more about Kimberly as a strategist, because I'm rebranding myself as a strategist. And with social media and things, I'm just helping out with strategy and how to scale a client's visibility or online presence. Like, what does it look like for you? Yeah, as a strategist. And then I have another question.
I don't even know how to answer this. What is it? Basically, it's a lot of research. I don't know if you've taken, I took UX design course, so I always have the client, as in the business client who we are trying to impress, and then the client that they need to try to impress. So it's like when I'm searching, I have to do a lot of research online, searching. It's just a lot of work. That's the problem.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, and I research like all day, every day. And then I would go down a rabbit hole, just, oh, that's interesting. Let me figure out how to do this. And it honestly helps to continue to learn more and more about the industry and how to serve your clients. So for instance, I guess let me help with the question. Since I had a call this morning, someone found me on Instagram. She was like, hey, I want to help. I need your help. Please help me streamline or make my Instagram page better. She does an excellent job. She posts, looks like every day or almost every day. It's just she doesn't have a cohesive look. So I know that's the first part. But just want to pick your brain.
A lot of times they don't have the caption. See, that's where the other part is. It's your SEO that you have to write in your captions. And they think a pretty picture is going to sell them, or they're going to go viral with a pretty picture. And that doesn't always happen. Plus, you have to also determine whether they're an influencer or if they're like a business and selling a product. Like the jewelry store is not an influencer that I have to try to. You need to it's like with them, they think posting a picture of this ring, which is very unique and creative, is just going to sell itself. And that's where the problem is. They have to write the captions, they have to write, and they don't have it. And you have to have the SEO words in there, the keywords, the hashtags, the call to actions. Everything needs to be in your captions. And I keep writing this to people. I actually put that in one of my Instagram posts. They read it. This is for the small businesses I have, the wedding vendors. They read it, and then I watched, and they didn't even bother putting it. They don't do it, but they just. I'm like, I don't know what else to say it. This is, they have to, that's what you have to look into. You have to look into what are going to be the keywords. And another thing I noticed is that they put keywords Like, this is something that I did even for myself. I am not trying to, I am not like, I'm trying to get web designers. Like, so I am a web designer, but I'm not trying to get web designers. So putting a hashtag on my posts, web designer, is going to the wrong people. So you have to make sure you are actually attracting the clients that they need, not necessarily what they are. You do put a few, obviously, of what, so the jewelry store, you're going to put some of the jewelry, but you also have to put the people that are into, this guy creates really unique jewelry. Mystic, he's an alchemist, so he's got like castles on rings, like he's like created with gold and gems, and it's a luxe. So you have to get to those clients, is what I'm saying. So you need to do the research. You need to find the keywords. You need to write it in their captions. This is what you're looking at. So you're looking at, that's just Instagram, but Instagram goes to Facebook. So then you're now connected. So then you have to look if they're connected to Facebook. Are they automatically posting to Facebook through Instagram, which can be bad, actually. You could go into your Facebook and post a better ad, a better of your posts, which again, attracting who you need to attract. And each social media has a different clientele. For this, again, I can only go with the jewelry store because that's what I just recently researched and did a whole bunch. LinkedIn. So they want to reach out to museums in the US and other places for showcasing their jewelry. So I'm like, you need to get onto LinkedIn. You need to start working in that route. They don't listen to me yet, but they're going to hopefully listen to me, because I've been like backing off. I'm like, here it is what it is. And I've been holding off because I'm the type of person who'd be like, well, maybe I should lower it. Maybe I should lower it to change it. But I've been backing off. I've been not pressing. I've been like, just let them contact. And that's what's happening. They're contacting me. They know I'm offering something. They just haven't figured out what yet. So that's what you just need to do, a lot of research and a lot of trying to figure out where their niche is, who they're trying to really be, who their clients are, how to connect to them. For example, even with this guy, I'm trying to even find influencers for one of their clients is Lady Gaga. So she's actually come. I'm thinking, you could use this. You could have taken some pictures with her with those rings on. But no, they didn't do that. Figure out what they need to do. So you're like in everything. That's where the strategy is, but also on their posting. I don't know what, you haven't seen what your client that you're talking about. So you said she posts really well, but her video reels, you can, Instagram, there's a difference between followers and viewers.
Yeah.
So that's something that a lot of people I've started finding out don't even know the difference of. So you have followers, which they could be anybody, their friends and all, and it's good to have followers, but it's the viewers and the people who aren't actually following you that you want to start increasing those. So that's another thing to look at for Instagram only. Facebook, same thing, but Instagram. So I don't know if I've made myself, I don't know if I confused you more or.
And then I had a question about web design. So it's open to everyone. How do you manage multiple projects at one time?
That's a good question. Yeah. My recommendation is to use a system that allows you to manage it. Trying to manage it in your head is difficult. So you need a project management tool of some sort. And primarily you need a system. So I always have a system, which is basically just in your head or on paper, like what needs to happen, like the flow, the schedule, the phases you're in. So you're in the onboarding phase, you're in the build phase, you're in review and testing, and you're in launch deployment, and you're in post project. So there's different phases for projects. So you should know what those phases are and what happens in each phase. And then when you think of a client, you're like, oh, John, Kristen, Tyler, whomever else, you can go, oh, they're in this phase, they're in this phase. So you need to have that system. There's no just tool that solves it for you. Having the system is key. And then once you have that, you use the tool to make that way easier to manage, because managing that in your head or on a piece of paper is next to impossible. You can obviously use Wix Studio. So if all your sites and you're building it in the Wix ecosystem, you have your dashboard, you have your workspace, and you could easily see your clients. You could see this page here, you could see this site here, you could see this site here, and you can go into their dashboard and manage their site and you can have that flow. Aside from that, you can use tools like Trello. You can use tools like Monday, ClickUp, Notion, though in my experience, it's not the best client management tool. It's usually a good internal management tool. I'm testing one called Copilot.app. Mixed experience on it, but it's basically like a project management tool that lets you see at a glance, like bird's eye view, the phases that people are in. John is in onboarding, Kristen is in build, Tyler is in launch, let's say Brad is in follow-up, post-project. And then you could see that. You should have a calendar and it should all fit into that. And then with that, you can manage those projects. Now, if you're like looking at, have your SOPs in order exactly. Delivering is another thing. If you're like building a project here and you're designing a project here and you're reviewing a project here, that's where it gets really hard. And you really can tell the constraints of a one-man shop. That's when you can tell. That's why, like for me, what I do in Creator Engines is I do build weeks, and that's reserved for the client. So I'll get on a call and I'll say, all right, Trevoris did a call. It was a sales call, closed him over the phone, sent over the proposal. He's ready to go. I told him I'm reserving a spot for you for the 3rd week in June. That's when we'll do build. And that's your week. And I'm going to hold it for you. Let me know when you're ready. And then when you sign the contract and pay the invoice, that week is reserved for you. So I know that week is your week for me to do build and execution because my projects fit 1 week windows. I might get on a call, let's say Kristen, tomorrow, and then sell her on a build week for her agency or for her business. And I go, 3rd week of June is booked, and I'm taking the 2nd week of June off. So I've got the 1st week, the 4th week of June, or the 1st week of July. Which one do you want? I'll hold it for you for a few days. You let me know. Here's the contract, here's the invoice. So then I just know nobody's overlapping, which is usually the problem with creative services people and web designers. They'll just get on a call, they'll get an email and go, ooh, a new client. Yes, let's do it. And then all of a sudden you've got 6 people all at the same time clustered together and there's no order. But if you like block off your time and maybe you realize like your projects last 2 weeks, or maybe they're 4 weeks. Like you just go like, this is the timeline. Mine's a week, it's very intensive. Maybe you're like, this is a 4-week project. Make it so that's your window. And you can either say, I don't take on another project in that time. July is booked with this client, but I've got a spot in August. That creates urgency with the client. So if you're on an email, you're doing a text, or you're talking with them, and they go, okay, I like it. This sounds great. I'm really down. When can we get started? Then your answer could be pretty honest. And it's like, my July is booked. I've got August and September. Would you like to lock one of those down? And then they'll go, oh, okay, so like these book up. And then you can get them locked in for that time. And then you just know when that project starts. And in that window of time, you've got your discovery and strategy, you've got your build, you've got your testing, you've got your launch and review. And you just book it that way. If you want to be able to take on more than one project at a time, maybe you can allow yourself to overlap somewhere. Like I can manage finishing a project while I onboard another project, so I'll allow for some overlap. Or if you're getting that busy, hire somebody to help with development, design, project management, someone who does the building for you and you do the business. But my recommendation would be just like choose your phase of time, your window of time, and put your price on it and sell it that way. And if you're like, I'm up every month, I'm like, great, you're probably making enough money to hire someone, carve out a certain amount, raise your price a little bit, and now take on 2 projects per month. You got 2 spots, and maybe your average price is $7,000 a project. So there you go, $14,000 in the month, and you're paying your web designer who's doing the build for you $4,500 a month or $3,000 a month or whatever their price is based on what you're doing, and you're profitable. So that's how I would recommend it.
Really good advice. Really good.
You beat me to it, but I was gonna say what I like is that gives you scarcity, and again, that gives you oh, okay. Again, I always bring that up as a suggestion when I see some people have their Calendly links or their calendar links, and it's like, when do you want to meet me? And it goes up until like December of the year. I'm like, okay, so you're telling me you're never busy? Like, yeah, you have no clients right now.
Mhm.
I'm like, give yourself a cutoff date and sprinkle some dates you're not working, and then it's like, oh, okay, I gotta meet with this guy because otherwise, if I don't meet with him next week, the next one's
Yeah.
in like the end of the month. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm bad
Yeah.
with that. I can do that.
Yeah. Or it's like all day. I'm like, well, okay, that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Pick some windows of time where you can. And that's the other thing I do too, is just like I choose times when I can do sales calls. So like office hours are Thursdays because I just know Thursday afternoons, I'm good. I block it off and it's repeatable. Like I'll do sales calls. I think it's like Monday and Tuesday and maybe Wednesday, but like don't have it just any time all throughout the week because it's just too interrupting. It interrupts my flow, my work, a meeting, if I'm doing client work, if I'm doing some creative crew work. But if I just know this is my window of time, Monday mornings or Monday afternoons, 2 afternoons, yeah, I kind of do it that way.
Yeah. I
Same with
mentioned that
Bill.
in the appointment video as well. Yeah. And I think that was someone who like brought that up. I'm like, that's a good point. Yeah. You don't want your calendar to be like, I'm always available for anything. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good because I think Monday I had like 3 calls and I was like, oh boy, and I got nothing done. So it's
You need to contain it.
yeah, really good. It's good advice.
Amazing. Yeah. Good. Good. All right, everybody, this was awesome. I'm glad that we fired up office hours again. But quick note before we go on the Creative Crew events, you'll see that we've got a web builder workshop coming up. That's going to be June 19th. So a couple weeks from now. We're going to be doing every 2 weeks is essentially a live session of some sort. Web builder workshop or office hours. Web builder workshop. This is kind of more hands-on, open your laptop, work on some sites, project you're working on. I'm building this animation in Studio and it really sucks. Or, hey, can someone give a second set of eyes in this responsive design? Or I'm trying to try this out, or my Figma Studio is not working, or this is working, this not, it's the CMS, the new feature. It's open that way. And I don't want to prescribe a topic because I might say, we're going to talk AI, but then Wix Studio goes and drops some crazy feature that everybody needs to talk about. Then we'll just talk about that. So we're going to leave them open. It's like we're all hanging out at the coffee shop with the laptops and we're going to work on some stuff. And that's how we're going to do that. Those will be recorded as well. But for now, thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. And we'll see you throughout the weeks in the community and on the next session. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Brad.
Of course. Bye now.
Good seeing everyone.